All right, hey, I'm back. I did my first rowing erg session of the year. This is my setup. I usually put an iPad, hang the iPad from here. I just watched a High Rocks video, and then I use my phone. I hook that up to the PM5 so I can see my split, see my heart rate. I did a little over an hour, heart rate 98 and average split of like 230. Yeah, so anyways, just wanted to mention a lot of people when they talk about the foot placement, they talk about the strap, and for rowing, ideally your foot placement has to do with basically how you enable your body to be most efficient. Like in a boat, when you adjust the feet up and down, the shoe is just attached to the plate, and then the plate has several holes on it. It has nothing to do with how the shoe fits. It has to do with being able, if you have really long legs, getting your knees down so you can reach, or maybe if you have short legs and a long torso. That's what the adjustment's for. I row at 0, goes from 0 to 6, right? So you have all those holes, and I only row at 0 because in my single, it's an old boat, 30 years old. The tracks stick out and hit the back of my calves. So I can't have the feet very low because the tracks are in the way. So I have to move the feet up. And that basically, with a seat pad, equates to 0 or 1. It's only like 16 centimeters. My 2K PR, I basically put hardly move. I put the foot stretcher all the way down, and the reason I did that was so that I could reach out over I have long legs, and my knees stick up into my armpits. So by lowering the feet, I'm able to get more reach, and this machine really responds to just trying to get that handle as close to the monitor as possible. I think in the boat, when you do that, you also, because of the angle, you get a lot of up and down motion going. So you're increasing your wetted surface because you're sort of driving up through the drive, and it causes the boat to bounce a lot more. So I typically, in the boat, I row with my feet higher. But if I'm on this just to get a score, I put them all the way down, and I sit on this guy. It's more comfortable. Has the little holes. The old Concept 2 rowing seats used to be shaped like a seat in a rowing boat, and now they've changed. I usually go either barefoot. It's cold. I hardly even took anything off. It was 27 when I started. The sun's out. It's nice, but I think it's in the 30s. But I usually go barefoot. Today I'm in socks. I recommend a flat shoe. You don't want to heel. I guess if you're doing CrossFit or you're doing High Rocks or something like that. I just watched a High Rocks video. You do a lot of running, so you need a shoe with cushion. But I'd recommend zero drop. I've been wearing 0 drop shoes for probably the last 5 years. That's increased my Achilles flexibility a lot. So I can row I can get pretty compressed without my heel coming up too much. And then wearing a 0 drop shoe also helps with your posture. I think it's a lot healthier for the back. The other thing that I do is I don't use the strap. I don't recommend using the strap unless you're doing a test, and you're rowing above 28 strokes a minute. I think 28, so you can get up to 28 strokes a minute without using the strap. And what not using the strap will do, rather than getting to the finish and pulling up on the strap, which engages your hip flexors, by not having the strap, it forces you to pull down with your heel so that you engage your hamstrings for the recovery. Your hamstrings are much stronger than your hip flexors. Your hip flexors are meant, for running, to lift your leg. Your hamstrings are meant to propel you forward. It also just gives the top of your quads a rest. So if you're getting to the finish and you've got that, almost like you're doing a leg curl, pushing down on the heel, it'll enable you to pull the boat under you. On a static erg, obviously, you're pulling yourself forward towards the cage, but in a boat, you get to the finish and you're pulling your foot stretchers towards the seat, not the other way around. And so, yeah, maybe at the finish you'll have a little bit of upward pressure in your toes, but as soon as from your finish you rock your shoulders forward, as soon as they past your hips on a static erg, that gives you a little bit of momentum, so that your recovery, you're having to use less energy to pull yourself up the slide. And in the boat, when you pivot, when you call it the rock over, but when you rock over, you go from sitting towards the back of your sit bones towards the front. You feel that pressure underneath your hamstring and your glute. What that does is that motion starts pulling the boat forward underneath you. And then once you do that, you continue that motion by pulling on the foot stretchers with your heels, not with the top of your shoe, and not on the ergometer with the strap. And that's going to make your recovery more efficient. So barefoot, flat, adjust these so that you can get into the proper catch position. And then the other thing, it's on my mind because I was just watching the High Rock stuff. I don't know if they're doing it for a reason, but they're all getting to the catch and opening their bodies. Even when I'm doing steady state, I'll do some drills, and I think a great one to work on the drive is just, you can do the first quarter of the drive, or you can do the entire drive, but just driving the legs down, making sure that you're not opening with your torso, and that your handle and your seat are moving together the same distance. If you're not keeping a tight core, you're going to get that little bit of the seat moving more than the handle. And if you're opening with your torso, you're going to get your handle moving further than the seat. You want those two things to move the same amount. This is a great machine for just really strengthening yourself in the drive sequence. I recommend doing some of your work with the Concept 2 sliders, because what this doesn't do is teach you, or I guess it doesn't reward the proper recovery sequence of getting to the finish. I'm trying to get stronger on this to rowing the boat. So I get here at the finish, I tap down, right? So I'm mimicking taking the blade out of the water. I like to follow down to my knees. Um, it just helps you not let your knees pop up early. So down, away, rock over, then you start the slide. And again, thinking not about moving towards the flywheel, but using your hamstrings, thinking about pulling the flywheel towards you, and then initiating the drive with your legs, and then open through. I do the legs only a lot because I open too early. It's kind of always been kind of my major technical flaw. Maybe it's the big rib cage that goes up against my quads. Anyways, yeah, just after watching that high rock stuff, I was thinking about technique on the rowing machine. Yeah, do a lot of feet out and focus, legs, body, arms. I guess if I think about, I don't know, maybe they're trying to save their legs for the run portion. There's a lot of running. You have to run next. I guess I would still maybe try to not get as compressed, get a little less compression, and get a little more reach with the torso. So you'd want to put the feet down, go all the way down. Just thinking this through. Right? You could really get a lot of reach with the torso and then have a really long swing. That way you're making the session a little more upper body focused, so that your legs are fresh. But you still want to initiate with the legs and then swing through. You don't want to, it's kind of what I was seeing, a lot of that, where, you know, the handle is almost hitting the knees rather than initiating, using a little bit of the momentum coming in to start the drive out,